What a whirlwind weekend, y'all. We had ups, we had downs, we had skaters having to run 9 million miles without their skate guards on just to make it to the rink, and then bizarre sleep schedules for many of us. Join me as I recap Chinese Nebelhorn, aka Skate to Milano. But first, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more figure skating related content. And for the pairs, China, Armenia, and Japan picked up spots for their countries. There were only 3 spots here, which made it even more nerve-wracking, oh my gosh, and just more heartbreaking. There's something about this competition that I enjoyed because it felt like the Olympics. It was so well done and just overall nice, but then you got to see people's dreams come true and see their dreams just go away. Zhang and Wang won a spot for China. Now, I don't know if Sui and Han are still going to plan to compete this season. So I don't know if this spot ended up possibly being someone else's spot, but regardless, they put it down in China and got a spot for China. One thing that stood out to me so much about this pair is they are so much in sync, especially if you watch their short program in the beginning. Like, it's almost like a mirror. I mean, even their cartwheels are in sync. And I didn't expect cartwheels. I don't know why cartwheels still surprise me nowadays. Cartwheels is like the new, like, going to the boards. And this program, the short program, is chock full of transitions. There was even a cartwheel transition into the death spiral. They're the second team to do this lately, and it just tickles me. I don't know what it is about a cartwheel transition. And watch there be like a better term for it, and I apologize. I just very much enjoyed their short program. And I love when teams just bring down the house at their home competition. And their free skate was to Oh by Coldplay. It wasn't perfect, but it was still a really nice program and enjoyable to watch. So, like, he fell on their side-by-side triple sow cows, but turned it around. And when it came to her landing that throw triple flip afterwards, it was just really exciting because the audience got so excited, and it was such a huge throw as well. I'm pretty sure Mark said in the end that it was choreographed by Ben Wall. It's just hard to hear over the cheering. And of course, this was Ben Wall. This had Ben Wall's face all over it. I just can't help but just love the stuff he puts together. I know some of y'all are probably like groaning, getting ready to like live tweet about this, but I enjoy a good Ben Wall program. What can I say? And so I couldn't quite hear also all of what Mark said about the program, but I do know from what I could hear was it's supposed to reflect their transition from juniors to seniors, with a bird and stuff. Sorry, I just couldn't hear over the excited audience because they like laid it down. And in second place, getting a spot for Armenia is AKOPOVA and RAKHMANIN. So this is their first time representing Armenia. They represented Russia in the past. And I believe I read somewhere that AKOPOVA is ethnically Armenian. For their short program, what stood out to me was a huge triple twist. That was really impressive. That was just massive. She could have like hit the rafter. I mean, I'm being, facetious, but really, it was impressive. For their free skate, man, there was a time during that double axel where I felt like she was going to swing out of it, but she held on. She made it. So this was another Bollywood-themed program. For me, the program came to life more towards the end when it got into like the faster-paced music. In the beginning, it was just kind of like getting through the elements, and then this is when they came to life. So overall, it was 2 beautiful skates for them. And to be honest, I actually haven't seen them skate before. So this is my first time seeing them. And in an exciting turn of events, Japan gets their second spot thanks to Yuna and Sumitada. This is such a promising pair. Now, I gushed about them in Kinoshita Cup a couple weeks ago. Absolutely adore this team and so excited for them. They are so promising. They likely would have podiumed higher here, but they made, just too many little mistakes here and there. I ended up just gasping in sadness whenever they did their side-by-side triple loop, and there was a fall, and that's when I was like, oh my gosh, they're not going to get to go to the Olympics. We need to see them because they're the future. And then there was sadness when she 2-footed the throw triple sow cow. I was just like, no. But then they came in fourth after the short, and I thought, okay, they can maybe, pull through. Their free skate wasn't perfect, but it was enough. And there was this time I was impressed with her. So when she ended up quickly thinking in the moment, and I swear it looked like she did a waltz. I'm pretty sure that was a waltz and not an axel jump to get into the double axel. So she was able to save that sequence combo. So y'all, they still get to make it to the Olympics. Of course, I know they have to go through Japanese nationals and so on, but this is a very promising team that I'm excited to just keep seeing. And in first alternate is the French married team, the KOVALEVs. So it's interesting because I was seeing on Reddit, I completely forgot about this. People were mentioning that there is a high possibility that they will still be in the mix because the Uzbekistan team is rumored to have broken up. And I don't believe there is another pair that can take that spot. They were in third after the short program and only made, some minor errors. And then for their free skate, she fell on the triple toe. So that bumped them down to fourth. So we shall see if they end up at the Olympics. I kind of hope so because it's one of those things where I looked up their story after Mark was talking about it. And so this is a pair that's had injuries and then they didn't get to finish competing in 2024 for the World Championships. And then I just love these stories where people just come back. So fingers crossed we get to see them, but only if the other team broke up and wants to break up. Because I also don't want to wish something bad on another team as well. I also wanted to talk about Audrey and Balazs. They came in sixth here overall. In the short program, there was a mistake when it came to their side-by-side triple toes. They were just off sync. And then, unfortunately, the death spiral was invalidated because he put his foot down. And that's when it was just very difficult for them to come back from that. And then the free had, some errors here and there. And of course, there was a fall from the triple throw. It is to my understanding that they won something at Champs Camp that got it to where they could come and compete here. And I'm not quite sure why so much was put into that Champs Camp competition. And it's nothing against this team. I enjoy this team. And I think, they are definitely the future. And in fact, I feel like after making the mistakes for the short program, coming back at the free skate, and even though they made some mistakes and were under a lot of pressure, they held it together. Nothing against them. I just feel like this may be, of course, they said in an interview it's their second international outing. So I like 4 continents and in this. So I don't know if they just weren't counting, the John Nix Pair Challenge, or if they meant this is our second huge international outing together. But still, this pair is relatively new. I think it wasn't really fair to him, and that's going to sound weird to put him in that situation where there's such high stakes, and they're still trying to get their groove together. Well, of course, we need them to compete and need them to get that experience, but I think this might not have been one to risk it. And while, some of the other pairs like Emily and Spencer, yeah, they're also not as consistent as maybe some other pair skaters out there. However, they've been together long enough to where they're a little bit more in sync and they can just make up in points with them being in sync, with them being able to do their jumps together. Just that kind of cohesiveness that a pair gets after they've been together a while, that was missing here. And again, I think this pair has so much potential. I just don't think this was the best outing to give them the opportunity. Let them fight this all out at nationals after they've had more competitions together, more practice together. Because now the U.S. only has 2 spots. And it might essentially end up, because of citizenship issues, end up being against them and Emily and Spencer, the battle for that second spot. So who knows at this point? Overall, though, kudos to this team, honestly, for being able to skate as well as they did in such a high pressure situation. Even though they made mistakes, they just kept going. In fact, when she fell in the free skate, she just got right back up, like Ted had said. So I think they have a lot of potential. I just think this was something that was mismanaged along the way. And I'm hoping they don't let this discourage them. And for the women, here are your winners. In first place as an individual neutral athlete, Adeliia Petrosian. In second place, representing Georgia, Anastasiia GUBANOVA, and in third place, Loena HENDRICKX from Belgium. And here are the qualified spots. Individual neutral athlete, Georgia and Belgium, which I just mentioned, and then another individual neutral athlete in China, which I'll go into more detail here in a little bit. I wasn't surprised by the first place winner here, Adeliia Petrosian, who competed as an AIN, also known as individual neutral athlete. So there was a lot of buzz beforehand leading up to this event when it came to Petrosian. So first there was news that Danny G wouldn't be able to go and that she would be at this competition alone. Then there was news that Ateri would be there, but she would not be able to be at the boards, which is true. And then there was news that she would show up with members of her team, which was also true. And then we found out about her injury, and there was word that she wouldn't be competing. But then they showed her practicing, but noted that she would not be doing her Ultra C elements due to the injury. I don't know all of the details of the injury. Just looking back, it looks as if she pulled out of Channel 1 Cup approximately 6 months ago due to a sprain. And then the reports this time around is talking about how she was injured over the summer and that she was unable to prepare as much for this competition when it came to the Ultra C elements because of lingering effects of the injury. So overall, she put on probably the most cleanest skates out of everyone. She did have a minor error when it came to her short program to Michael Jackson. She was really able to hang on though, but there was a second where I thought she was going to put her hand down or something when it came to the triple lutz or just kind of swing out of it. And it also got caught on a cue. For that program, I do enjoy the energy at the end, especially when she comes alive during the step sequence. It looks like this program requires a lot of stamina. And then she did her free skate to a tango, and that was generally clean. So she won in the technical department for this free skate, though her PCS was 4 points less than Luna's and 2 points lower than GUBANOVA. What really stood out to me, though, were her spins. Those were really fantastic, especially her final one, which I think would be considered a Y spin. That was just really neat, and I feel like it's been a bit since I've seen that type of spin. So this will be the last time that we see her internationally until the Olympics, and so we won't get to see her one-on-one with anybody else that will be at the Olympics until the Olympics, which is unique because usually we see them at the Grand Prix final, and that can give us an idea. Or, at Europeans, you get to see how she stacks up with other European skaters. So it really will be the showdown at the Olympics. And earning a spot for Georgia was Anastasiia GUBANOVA. What an exciting redemption for her, y'all. Like, I know she had the redemption skate at World Team Trophy, but this felt so much larger than that. And for those of y'all who may not remember, at Worlds, she didn't make the free skate. Here, she was on point. She nailed it. Of course, it wasn't 100% perfect because in her short program, she ended up having a level 2 combo spin, and her step sequence was only a level 3, and she ended up getting her triple lutz at a Q. So there were a lot of opinions about this program. It seemed to be there was people who loved it and people who absolutely detested it because of its Bollywood theme. I don't know if we know yet if she consulted with anyone, prior to making this. I know in the past, like if I remember right, Davis and White, when they did their Bollywood style dance program, they consulted with a specialist. So that is unclear. What I can tell you is it seems like she is having a blast during it, and there's a lot of times when I watch her skate, and I must say the instances where I've seen her skate in person have been at Worlds, which seems to be kind of like someone has got a voodoo doll on her at Worlds because she just falls apart during it. So that may be my bias here, but sometimes when she skates, I don't see a lot of joy. With this program, she was having a blast, and so I couldn't help but enjoy it because she was having so much fun and so into it. And GUBANOVA's free skate to Ghost. Now, this was a beautiful program. I think what made it really stand out to me and what made me kind of maybe excuse kind of the voiceovers was the fact one, it was a very delicately skated program, but also she seemed so relaxed. And I feel like the more relaxed she is, the more she seems to be enjoying herself, the more lovely her skating is, the more that she can just flow into all the movements. It just came off magical to me. And her dress was unique too. That one was pretty neat. With the faces on the back, I'm not sure the story behind it. I'm sure it's a movie reference that I don't quite understand, or the musical reference, I mean. Overall, a very classy program for her that she just seemed so much more relaxed. I was so excited for her. And she looked happy with her silver. Like, she did not seem disappointed at all. So overall, major, major, major congratulations to her for one, getting the spot, but two, redeeming herself again. So redeeming herself at a large event again. And so we will see her at the Olympics, which is so exciting for her. And in third place, Loena HENDRICKX from Belgium. And Loena HENDRICKX came in third place, which means she got a second spot for Belgium. I am so excited and so happy for her. Last season, she had to withdraw because of her ankle injury. She's had surgery. And what was super impressive, y'all, is this is her first international competition of the season. And in fact, her first international competition since she did, what competition was that? Shanghai Trophy last year. And then we didn't see her ever again. Well, for the season, like not ever. Like, let's see her skate again. And then she had the ankle injury and the surgery and all that, and then came back ready to rumble this season. She is looking on point. Yes, she made some small mistakes in her short program. She had her hand down for her combo and then put the hand down after her double axel. But then she went and nailed a beautiful triple Lutz, and I was so excited for her. It didn't look like a stamina issue. I felt like maybe it was either more nerves or just something like that, because what makes me think that now also is when you get to her free skate, nailed the jumps, except for doubling one of the planned triples, but not concerned about that at all. But going back to her short program, so I thought I wouldn't like this at first, but I think there was just something so comforting about Luna taking us back to the European clubs. I believe the term is like, is it Euro Club? No, that is the official nightclub for Eurovision Song Contest. What? Either way, she's taking us to like a club at 3 a.m, and I am here for it. It's just comforting to see her clubbing it out again, and she enjoys these programs, and kudos to her. Just absolutely was so excited and over the moon for her. And like, she skated last, so that had to have been difficult. And for Luna's free skate to La Agria, I really enjoyed this program for her because it starts out slow and delicate and is something different than what we have seen from her in a while. And then towards the end, suddenly we're back to the club. We're getting how she likes to be. You know, maybe the first part was when you go to like a classical music show where you watch something like a play, and then you go clubbing afterwards. I feel like that may be what she's depicting. It was really nice, though. It was really lovely. And then there was a part, my God, where she did this choreo slide into her spin. Like, that was money. That was pretty epic. She just looked so confident here. I was just so excited for her. So happy. And just so relieved also. Like, major congratulations to her. She is taking us to the club at the Olympics, and I'm here for it. You know, there for a while, I was tired of the club programs, but there's nothing more comforting than Luna taking us to the club. That's all I gotta say, y'all. The medalists were also very endearing with one another. Look at this Instagram post. In fourth place and earning a spot for herself as an independent neutral athlete is Viktoriia SAFONOVA. She ended up climbing from 7th place to 4th place following the free skate. For her short program, she had an under rotation and a call on her triple Lutz edge and then a cue for her triple toe. I felt that her short program was lovely if you kind of take out the fact that some of her jumps just looked a little tight. Now, her free skate just didn't speak to me a whole lot. From a technical standpoint, she got the job done. Her jumps are beautiful and have this wow factor to them. Overall, the free skate kind of resembles a jump drill. And it could be the fact, though, that I was missing a lot of sleep, but it just didn't get me in that much. But from a technical standpoint, she rocked it. And the final skater for the women to earn Olympic spot was Ruiyang ZHANG. This girl must have nerves of steel. She was skating to earn Olympic spot for the country of China in her country. And Mark said that she trains not too far from that arena right there. And she accomplished it. She got a spot, which is so amazing. Her short program was delightful. She skated to Frozen by Madonna, and it was just an overall delight, especially her spins. I know I'm talking a lot about spins today. Maybe I just haven't seen a good spin in a bit. I don't know. I think spins are tough lately for me to get too into because there's so many levels and so many things that go into them now that are just kind of like something that looks like people begrudgingly do. Not to get off topic, but so she held it down for her short program, and in her free skate, I was holding my breath. Not that it was a disaster or anything, but she had to step out for a double Lutz that was probably supposed to be a triple Lutz, and then she fell on her triple loop, and at that point, I thought, oh my God. But she held it together, reset, was able to do the rest of her free program with no issues. And in fact, her double axel, double toe sequence, there was something oddly satisfying about it. And I'm not sure what it was. It just kind of like just flowed together nice. But overall, this was really exciting. And I love the moment when she realized that she got a spot for China. So major congratulations to her. That is super exciting. And now on to the parts that are absolutely kind of gut-wrenching. One of those is Stefania YAKOVLEVA representing Cyprus. She was in fifth after the short program, and then in the free skate, she had some some shaky landings for her triple Lutz and her triple Salchow, and her triple Lutz also got called under. It's just really sad to think about. She was so close. But, however, this is her first season as a senior, and I know she was probably hoping to debut at the Olympics, but barring injury, hopefully by next quad, she will make the Olympics. It's rough to see. Also, there's this part in her free skate where I gasped because I thought she fell. I was about ready to just walk out of the room because, but it's just a choreographed death. Another result that was absolutely heartbreaking was Josefin TALJEGARD from Sweden. I root for this woman so much. I just found out she was 30 years old. I don't know why we can't just ship her to the Olympics. Just one, fans love her. Two, think of all the fluff pieces of her being 30. Like, we could even have Tara and Johnny. I know that they tend to want to talk about like American skaters, but we can just have like so much fluff about her being 30 and how much everyone loves her. I experienced the same crash out that Mark did over one, first her PCS being lower than the gates of hell. Like that wasn't cool. And then two, just, the technical stuff wasn't there for her this weekend. Regardless, though, both programs, she skated her heart out. She skated, especially that free skate. You wouldn't have known that she likely knew at that point after those mistakes that she wasn't going to make the Olympics. She did not let it detract from her performances. Both programs choreographed beautifully. Hand movements where they need to be with the music. I just can't get over this. And she's such a unique skater. I just wish, I wish there was a way for the world to see her again. I know she's been to the Olympics before, but my God, she needs to go back so more people can see her. See, this made my accent come out. I adore her, though. I wish nothing but the best for her. There's just something about her that pulls on my heartstrings. I don't know if it's because she's from a smaller federation, because you can just see the motivation, how much she enjoys skating, how much she puts into it, how she can just get you in with her performance. Oh, I can't. I think what makes this so difficult is, it's the unknown. Like, could this be the last time that she is going to try out for the Olympics? Now, she said in an interview with the Golden Skate, though, that she had felt like back in 2021 that Worlds was going to be her last competition for her here she is 4 years later, and she's still here, and she's glad she didn't quit. She skated for 25 years so far. I mean, I don't know why I'm surprised. I mean, it makes sense. Either way, I hope she gets to do whatever she wants to do in life, and I wish the world could see her, so I wish there was a quirky way that we could get her to the Olympics. Or even worlds at this point. Like, what is going on with this world? All right. I join you, Mark, in the sadness. Also, want to give a shout out to Kristina LISOVSKAJA. Sorry if I butchered that. From Estonia. There's something cool about her. There's just something unique that you don't see in a lot of skaters. Like, I feel like she is one that you could assign a bizarre program to. Like, she could be like the Adam Salhenfalt of like the women. Like, I feel like Benoit could have her do something unique. I feel like she could do like a Halloween type program. There's just something cool about her. And then I went down the rabbit hole and went on her Instagram and watched her skincare routine. And I thought, this person's cool. And I can't even describe it. Like, you just need to watch her skate. And she just seems so relaxed and happy. She truly enjoys skating. And that's what I think was so enjoyable about her. And to think, like, had I not got up at a weird time, I would have got to see her skate. Like, I think, she's been on the senior scene for a bit and she's been on some challengers, but this is my first opportunity to get to see her skate. So she's cool. There's just something cool about her. All right, y'all. Okay, for the ice dance event, you have next day Jillian with less sleep and too much caffeine. So let's see how this goes. So the ice dance event was not without controversy. Like, I crashed asleep very quickly into this, unfortunately. And when I woke up, I thought, this is going to be similar results to the day before, whatever day they did it. All these days are meshing together for their rhythm dance. But that was not the case. Ice dance only had 4 spots up for grabs. And those ended up being earned by Reed and Ava Verlicious, Harrison Chan for Australia, Val and Kazimov for Spain, and Wang and Liu earning a spot for China. Now, each of these would be 1 spot total for their country. However, for Spain, this is the 2nd spot that was earned, with Olivia and Tim earning the 1st spot during Worlds. Now, back to the controversy. The Japanese team, Yoshida and Marita, and the Swedish team, Reitan and Myrov, both got an exclamation mark on their character steps, which cost around 1 to 1.5 points for both teams. So this wasn't too big of a surprise for the Japanese team because this got called at earlier this season for not getting, close enough to the boards. So that wasn't the biggest surprise. However, I'm not sure what accounted for the Swedish team's call. First, I want to warn y'all that I'm not an ice dance expert, so please let me know if I am just missing something. It just didn't set right for me to have this unexpected result when this teams came out so strong for both programs. For the Swedish team, their Ricky Martin program, they really put on a performance. They were both so into it, enjoyable for a Ricky Martin program. And then for their free dance to Romeo and Juliet, it was just on point. I love the story behind it. And so it just didn't set right that they were knocked off the podium for a spot by Wang and Liu from China. And honestly, I didn't even know they were allowed to compete at this point because of the allegations against him for SA and embezzlement. But here we are, and now they're going to the Olympics. So leave me your thoughts below, especially if you're an ice dance guru. Please feel free to just let me know what I'm missing. And in first place, rightfully so, is Allison and Salis from Lithuania. Major redemption after Worlds. That was such a devastating fall. And so I'm so excited for them because they have done so much to make it this far. They have done so much to get to this point, to get to go to the Olympics. She fought so hard to get citizenship. So I'm just elated for them. For their rhythm dance too, I'm Too Sexy. They looked so relaxed there. Like, you wouldn't have thought that everything was on the line there. Just so comfortable and at ease. And they went into their twizzles with such speed. There was just no hesitation. They just whipped around the twizzles. Just went right into it. Now, I did think he was really getting into this program. Like, in the end, he sold it. I mean, she sold it too, but you could tell he was born to skate to I'm Too Sexy. This man might be in the mirror preparing for this moment. Who knows? Also, that rotational lift around the rink. What? Awesome program. So for the free dance, I would like to watch it again because I felt that they were slightly tense. They skated well, don't get me wrong, but there was just kind of this speed and like oomph factor that was missing. But I don't blame them because they basically had to do what they needed to do to get by without losing their spot. I do like the second half of the program so much more. I really feel like that's where it picks up. So overall, I'm just so excited for them and love, love, love the reactions. And I saw so many clips of her crying tears of joy, especially I think she was crying tears of joy at one point with her sister. Like, so excited for them. And in second place, earning a spot for Australia, is Holly Harris and Jason Chan. I feel like for their rhythm dance, they put on a 90s dance party, and I appreciated this. And I'm afraid, though, I'm going to be biased about what rhythm dances I like based upon what is closer to my millennial existence. And I'm going to recognize this right now. And by that, I mean like the later 90s songs as opposed to the songs when I was a child still. And both of them are so committed to the program. So committed. Like, they sped through the ring, Jennifer Lopezing through the whole thing. Like, they too also had a very impressive rotational lift. So speedy during this. Why am I just now noticing how fast they are? Also, I think I stumbled upon her vlog, and I think that also made me like this team more. Because, like, if you want to vlog the coffee you're drinking before your competition, I'm all for this. In fact, I, too, will vlog the coffee I drink before I watch your competition. In person, that is. So it just made her more endearing to me. I really enjoyed their free dance, and it was choreographed by Jean-Luc Baker. He created some really unique entries and transitions to their lifts, and they move from position to position so quickly, and just everything was on point, and I was super impressed. And there was like a couple moments, where they were out of sync, but I was very, very impressed with this program. I'm just overall so excited for them, and I love seeing skaters relief in the kiss and cry and their tears of joy when they are making their Olympic dream come true. And earning the second spot for Spain, Sofia Val and Asaf Kazimo. For their rhythm dance, it was to Ricky Martin. I felt like they put a lot of energy and speed into this program, and they really did do a dance off to Ricky Martin well. Especially the speed in which they went into their twizzles, that really stood out to me. And for their free dance, Exogenesis is a warhorse, but I can't help but like it. One thing that stood out to me was just how close they do their twizzles. In fact, most of their movements and everything's very, very close. And I really liked the position of the lifts with the music. I felt like there were moments where it really fit. Now, Ted and Mark mentioned there were some minor missteps through some of the lifts that were very subtle, but overall this was a very solid outing for them, and so congratulations to them, especially since he recently got citizenship, so now he does get to go to the Olympics. And I wanted to touch on this team from Japan, Yoshida and Morita. I adored everything about the rhythm dance. It was unique. They are going to stand out. Like, Dance Dance Revolution, I may be biased because I too have Dance Dance Revolution, but still, I love when skaters do something unique and something that stands out. And this was just a fun program, and her hair was on point. And their free dance, it's still such a shame that they missed the point. Now, I do admit, though, there were times during this where I felt like they were being cautious, especially when it came to their twizzles, but still a strong performance. I was hoping they would get a spot. However, they do have the possibility, I believe, to get to do the team event for Japan. Now, don't quote me on that, but I think that might be a possibility for them. And for the men's, there was like a splash of menning, but maybe not as menning as usual. So spots were earned for neutral individual athlete, Republic of Korea, Mexico, Ukraine, and Chinese Taipei. And in first place, earning a spot as an individual neutral athlete was Petr Gumenek. He is a Russian skater. He looks so different than when I last saw him competing at the international level for his short program to perfume. What really stood out to me was just how massive his jumps were and the speed that he rotates. So he opened up with a very impressive quad flip, triple toe, and effortlessly did a quad salchow and then did his triple axel in the later part of the program. I just thought it was a beautiful skate overall. What surprised me was I didn't expect a costume prop. It was very effective. It did look like a murder happened on his arm. And it felt like his death at the end, I think he was supposed to die at the end, was just very effective because he wasn't like at a point where someone go, oh God, he fell, let's give him a point deduction. So it was an effective death if that's what he was going for. For his free skate, he had a jam-packed quad layout. So he had 5 quads. 2 of them were called under and 1 of them got called a Q. I enjoyed this program. I did like his, short program better, but this was still a good vehicle for him. I read that he ended up going back to last year's program because his new program was just not well liked. And also, not to detract from his skating, but can I have his hair care routine, please? And in second place, earning a second spot for Republic of Korea, Hyun Kim. He seems like such a promising skater, and I was impressed with him here. He opened up with a beautiful quad toe. I felt like it looked like a little bit like he hung on, but not too bad though. He also doesn't finish with the music, and I don't know what that's about. It must be, enough for him to finish in time, but not with the music. But maybe over time, something will get arranged in his program to solve that. I enjoyed his free skate. There was a time where I'm like, okay, this was Adeliia Petrosian's music. There was this part where he did this amazing slide, and that's when he sold me. And I'm like, just slide on to the Olympics, dude. So congratulations to him. I'm so excited. Loved getting to see his kiss and cry reaction. And oh my God, in third, was Donovan. Y'all, I fell asleep Friday night, technically Saturday morning, and missed Donovan and woke up and nervously checked, thinking, okay, if he didn't get it, you'll be fine. He'll be fine. Everybody will be fine. But woke up to him second in the short program and with a personal best score of 84.97. And then I went and watched it, and that was honestly the skate of his life. We are used to him putting on a show for us, but sometimes the jumps don't materialize to the program. And this time it did. Like, he even did a quad salchow, triple toe, and a triple axel, and it was just so clean. And he skated last, y'all, skated last. And he just looked like he was having a blast throughout it. And also, the A-frame spin. He needs to be in a textbook for that. And as for his free skate, let me tell you, there is nothing like setting your alarm incorrectly, waking up, going to Reddit, seeing oh no's, and then seeing that he got 8th in the free skate, but then seeing that he ended up getting 3rd overall, getting a spot. It's like as was if it was a sign for me to just sleep through that so I would only have a mini heart attack and not a full-on heart attack. His free skate, it wasn't the best. It was messy. He bobbled on everything. It looks like the nerves got to him. Elvis left the building, but Elvis is back in the building. And so I am so excited that he got that spot because I think the world needs to see Donovan again, times 40. And earning a spot for Ukraine was Kirilo Marsak. There was also some things going behind the scenes that was concerning. So he posted on Instagram that someone in an athlete-only area took all of his stuffies and toys. And that was just really upsetting to think about because he just got off the ice, did a short program in honor of his father, but then he had his stuffies taken away. That just did not set well with me. But I am ecstatic that despite all of this, he was able to earn a spot for Ukraine. And then he did it again in his free skate. In fact, I wrote that down. I thought there's no way. And then I just checked the protocols and yes, he did. But regardless, he put on a battle, he is also someone that has a remarkable A-line spin on point. He's rotates really fast. That's something that really stood out to me, especially in his free skate. And overall, super, super excited for him. And so I don't know yet if Ukraine will decide to send him or if it's something that's going to be decided at nationals. It looks like he's pretty much the strongest contender at this point. I could be wrong, but we shall see. And earning that 5th spot is Yusung Lee from Chinese Taipei. For his short program, what really stood out to me is how fast he is, and he has his expressions on point. Like, he just looked at the judges like, you're going to see that I'm putting on a performance. He really had to hold on to the triple toe loop and the combo with the triple lutz, but he did hold on to it. And apparently he was going to do a quad toe according to Mark, but he ended up opting not to, which is probably a good decision, just not to risk it. For his free skate, he looks like he's having a blast. Like, he is skating to all the lonely people and he is smiling, but it didn't seem inappropriate. Like, it didn't seem out of nowhere. It seemed like a genuine smile, not like an American skater smile that can sometimes be inserted, if that makes sense. His program was mainly clean. He did get called at a Q for his triple axel. I had to rewind to see why it was getting negative GOE. But overall, this was a really good outing for him, and I just love his energy. Overall, heartbroken for David Brain. Such a beautiful skater. You can see so much how Kevin Amos has shaped him, inspired him. So unique with his programs that it just killed my soul that he missed out because of a spin. All right, y'all. It's time to nap. I don't know how I'm going to exist the rest of the day or the whole week. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more figure skating related content.